Sight for Wight news for Friday the 27th of September 2019. Tuesday 1st of October. There will be a coffee morning held in support of the Society at the Post Office in Knighton. All are welcome from 10:30 a.m. until 12 noon. The swimming group are swimming at the waterside pool in Ryde from 8 p.m. until 8:45 p.m. The pool is closed to the public whilst the group swims. There are male and female volunteers to help you get in and out of the pool, as well as lifeguards to ensure your safety. To join the swimming group, please call Sight for Wight first to notify us of your swimming ability. You need to register with the office at Millbrook House first to be able to swim with the group.
Wednesday the 2nd of October. The weekly coffee morning will be held at Millbrook House this week from 10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. There will also be our low vision drop-in between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. This is a weekly event to allow you to view and try the low vision equipment we have at the Society without the need for an appointment. At the coffee morning this week we will have a guest speaker. We are pleased to welcome Tom McNulty from the Macular Society, who will be joining us at 10:30 a.m. to let us know what the Society is up to, pass on any news and updates, and answer any questions you may have about macular disease and living with sight loss. This month's Sing About session will be held at the Methodist Church in Newport at Quay Street. The various island groups will be joining for an afternoon of ABBA. Thank you for the music. If you would like to join the Sing About group for this event, please contact Laura on 522 205.
Thursday 3rd of October. There will be a coffee morning held at Costa Coffee, High Street, Cowes. Laura will be there between 10:30 and 11:45 a.m. Refreshments are available to purchase direct from the coffee shop. The Thursday social group are meeting at Millbrook House. The group meets from 10:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. With the help of a volunteer, the group enjoy a number of activities, crosswords, catching up on news and trivia, knitting and crochet. They are currently making pom-poms to make into a rug, as well as decorations for the Sight for Wight Christmas tree. This very friendly, mixed group also love to chat and enjoy lunch together. Later in the afternoon, volunteers come in and read to the group on different topics. If you would like to join the group, then please contact the charity on 522205.
Any other news? We have received 2 messages from the Isle of Wight Against Scams partnership. The first is that a month-long awareness-raising campaign against scams has been launched by the Isle of Wight Council, highlighting scams and doorstep crime, as well as encouraging businesses and organisations to join the partnership. More information is available here. www.gov.uk/news/SCAM-P partnership-campaign-launched. The second is to advise that trading standards are warning residents to be aware of a new scam call that has hit the island this week. Residents have reported receiving calls purporting to be from Amazon Prime, and they appear to vary slightly. One states that your Amazon Prime account is about to be shut down and press 1 for further details. The other states that the subscription of $39.99 will renew automatically unless you ring to let us know that you are not renewing. In most instances, the residents who have received these calls don't have an Amazon account, so have realised it is a scam. For anyone with an Amazon account, this could be quite worrying. This is definitely a scam. Do not respond. Hang up immediately.
2020 Diaries and Calendars. It's time to order your VIP diaries and calendars. Please note that the suppliers of VIP diaries have now imposed a minimum number for orders that we place on your behalf. Therefore, we will place orders on the following dates: 21st of October, 11th of November, 25th of November, and then a final order on Wednesday the 3rd of December. Any orders after this date will need to be made directly by members to the diary company. Prices are as follows: Pocket Diary A6 with cover, week to a view, £5.75. Pocket Diary A6 insert only, week to a view, £5.30. MIDI Diary A5, week to a view, £7.65. Jumbo Diary A4, week to a view, 2 days per page, £21. Desk Diary A4, week to a view, £9.45. Wall Hanging Calendar A3, £6.25. Wall Hanging Dates Reminder, £5.75. To place your order, please contact Laura Jasper, members@iwsb.org.uk, or phone 522205. The West Wight Coffee and Chat, which takes place at the end of the line cafe in Freshwater, has now ended due to declining numbers. We apologise for any inconvenience.
An audio book group meets at Ryde Library on the second Friday of each month from 11 a.m. for about an hour. Their next meeting is on the 11th of October. This book group is not run by Sight for Wight, so if you would like further information about joining the group, please contact Joe Dodd on 823825. This group is also looking for a facilitator for the group, so if you know someone who could help, please contact Joe. Possible new audiobook group. Alistair has run the Freshwater Library audio book group for many years and is now looking to start a new one at Sandown Library. If you would be interested in joining the group, please contact Sandown Library on 402 748 with your name and contact details, and they will pass on your details to Alistair. Days and times to be arranged once we have an idea of interest. Please note that this group is not run by Sight for Wight. We are just advertising on Alistair's behalf. Christmas tree decorations. If any member would like to make a Christmas tree decoration for our tree to be displayed at Bryston Christmas Tree Festival in December, preferably in blue and gold colours, but not essential, they are more than welcome to either drop them off at Millbrook House or send them in by the end of November. That would be fantastic.
Sight for Wight has the following donated second-hand items for sale. All items are in working order and are sold as seen. RNIB Pen Friend version 1 with instructions and labels, £25. Cobalt Speechmaster Talking Microwave 2016 model in good used condition, £80. Daylight standing floor lamp on wheels, so able to move around, good used condition £20. Enhanced Vision Smart Reader with control handset, good used condition £300. If you would like to view or purchase any of these items, please contact Laura Jasper, members at iwsb.org.uk, or phone the charity on 522205. Raffle tickets are now available for our annual raffle, which will be drawn on the 31st of October. The tickets are £1 each and come in a book of 5 tickets. Please contact Site for Wight on 522205 or email enquiries at iwsb.org.uk if you would like to purchase tickets.
Visit to the Isle of Wight Distillery. Monday the 11th of November. Meet first at 10:30 a.m. at the Old Barracks Tea Room in Puckpool Park Ryde, followed by a talk and tasting at 12 noon for approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour at the Isle of Wight Distillery, Pondwell Ryde. No charge for the talk or tasting. Minibus transport may be available depending on location and will cost £2. The closing date for applications is Friday the 25th of October. For further details or to book your place, please contact Laura Jasper on 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk.
Murder Mystery Night. Join us for an evening of murder and mystery at Millbrook House on Thursday the 31st of October at 6:30 p.m. Ticket price is £10, which includes a simple 2-course supper, glass of wine, coffee and mints. We will also be drawing our annual summer raffle, so there's still a chance to buy a ticket and be in with a chance of winning some great prizes, including a first prize of £100 cash. Parking available via Castle Road, PO 30 1DT. For booking inquiries, please contact Site for Wight on 522205 or email fundraising@iwsb.org.uk.
Short Story Writing Competition 2019. Yes, it's back. This year's theme is The Sound of Christmas. Entry forms are available from Waterstones Newport or downloadable from our website www.iwsb.org.uk. This year's celebrity readers are Adana Minghella, Kate Weston, Melvin Hayes, and new to this year's lineup, Michael Maloney, a versatile actor from film, television and audio dramas. We hope that you will support our competition and look forward to your entries. Closing date is Friday the 8th of November. If you would like further information, then please contact Chris on 522205 or email fundraising@iwsb.org.uk.
This week's In Touch, Putting Your Face On. In Touch, a mini makeup workshop with blind beauty vlogger Lucy Edwards. Lucy Edwards spent 6 years perfecting her beauty routine after she lost her sight and has passed on all she learnt in a book called The Blind Beauty Guide. She gives fellow blind journalist Emma Tracy her best makeup tips.
And now the Isle of Wight County Press for Friday the 27th of September 2019. The headline on the front page is Driver Behind Bars. Couple suffer life-changing injuries in Tapnell car crash caused by repeat offender. A driver who smashed into a car, leaving a husband and wife with life-changing injuries, has been jailed for 2.5 years. Joshua Johnson, 27 of Gunville Road, Newport, admitted 2 counts of causing serious injury through dangerous driving on May the 28th, 2018, when he appeared at the Isle of Wight Crown Court earlier this month. He had been driving along the middle road when he caught up behind a car, which had stopped at the junction to Tapnell Farm. He moved to overtake the vehicle as the driver and Torts began turning into the junction. The vehicles collided with devastating consequences. Mrs. Torts and her husband Peter were left with horrendous injuries. Mrs. Torts suffered a fractured pelvis, internal hemorrhaging and a torn aorta, and was in hospital for 4 weeks. Mr. Torts was unable to walk unaided for a month. Mr. Torts cried as he read out his victim's statement in court, explaining how the crash changed their lives. He said, "After the accident, it feels like all we have left is life to endure. I can still see what I thought was my wife breathing her last breaths on that airbag. Now I watch her suffer daily. I am angry with myself for being so courteous to the other driver at the time. He deserves everything and more that is coming to him. It has been 16 months of hell." Prosecutor John Underhill said the Portsmouth couple had travelled to the island to purchase a Toyota Yaris, the vehicle Mrs. Torts was later cut free from. The court heard Johnson had previously been convicted of dangerous driving in 2015 and received a suspended sentence. Jane Rowley for Johnson said, "In the aftermath of the incident, he went to their car to check they were okay. There hasn't been a single day where he has not contemplated the damage he caused to this couple." Judge William Mosley sentenced Johnson to 30 months in prison and disqualified him from driving for 6 years.
Public row at council meeting. The St Mary's roundabout scheme will go ahead as planned, despite a last-ditched attempt to halt the works at an ill-tempered Isle of Wight council meeting on Wednesday. At one point, the meeting was briefly adjourned and the public gallery cleared after one resident, who was shouting, was warned he would be asked to leave unless he calmed down. The extraordinary meeting was held after opposition councillors called for the works to be halted until after other traffic issues, namely the traffic lights at Coppins Bridge, were addressed. Councillors voted for the works to go ahead, but agreed an urgent review of the Coppins Bridge lights should be carried out. However, the motion was not binding. The motion, amended by Council Leader Councillor Dave Stewart, was carried by 16 votes to 12. Councillor Matthew Price was the only Tory to vote against it. Councillor Julie Jones-Evans, who submitted the original motion calling for the works to be postponed, said Councillor Stewart's amendment took everything out of her proposal. She said afterwards she was disappointed the meeting had descended into a public row. Councillor Ian Ward, Cabinet Member for Infrastructure and Transport, accused members of jumping on the bandwagon to complain. He said, "The plan is to future-proof Newport's strategic junctions in the face of increasing development and the associated rise in traffic levels. This is going to happen. We live in the real world. To disrupt the current plan is to endanger the improvements and condemn residents to longer delays, more congestion and more pollution. How do you justify that to your residents?" Experts question St Mary's scheme. Transport experts have questioned the unrealistically high traffic data used to justify the St Mary's roundabout scheme. The work is due to start on Monday in a bid to reduce traffic congestion through Newport, but a number of objections have been raised and more than 2,800 people have signed a petition to stop the scheme. Speaking at last week's full council meeting, Councillor Ward called for evidence to support objections and described some opposition councillors' arguments as make-believe. I'm not sure how many professional engineers are on the other side of the chamber, but they are talking as if they know all the answers and we are wrong, he said. In response, Will Ainsley and Martin Gibson, directors at People Powered Community Interest Company, PPCIC, who have extensive experience in the sustainable transport sector, have compiled a case. In a report, they pointed out traffic had actually decreased across the island and said the council should focus its efforts on sustainable travel. It quoted a council report that projected traffic growth of about 22% between 2017 and 2034, but government projections suggest the island's population will only grow by 6.5% in the same period. Original plans for the scheme were based on a Newport traffic model from 2018, which predicted traffic growth between 2007 and 2020 of around 26%. In fact, according to the Department of Transport, traffic has decreased by 1%. Mr. Ainsley and Mr. Gibson said the plans are based on projections of traffic growth that are much higher than the patterns we've seen over the last 2 decades and fail to take into account the clear trend towards less car use. Planning for proposed increases in housing and traffic is important, but we need to be sure the projections are realistic, that the designs are proportionate, and they include ample facilities for people to be able to walk, cycle and use public transport. Because of the unrealistically high traffic growth forecast the plans are based on, the current designs are too heavily skewed towards road capacity for cars and fail to adequately cater for other modes of transport. They call for a pause and a rethink, but the council has already said the scheme will go ahead. A council spokesperson said the scheme was based on traffic modelling developed by an internationally recognised transport planning consultancy. By 2034, the modelling indicated there would be queues of 157 vehicles southbound on Medina Way in the morning peak period, and 200 vehicles leaving the Dodner Industrial Estate during the evening peak period. This compares to reduced queues of 20 and 40 vehicles respectively under the new junction arrangement, said the spokesperson. A number of potential improvements were reviewed and tested, and the current scheme was found to offer the best solution. The spokesperson said the figures quoted by PPCIC were selective and the findings not robust.
Isle of Wight Day celebrations. Carisbrooke Castle was the focal point for this year's Isle of Wight Day celebrations, as visitors gathered at the historic landmark to enjoy a wide range of entertainment and activities. On Saturday, as many as 4,000 islanders celebrated the occasion, a day for the community to come together and celebrate everything that is great about the island by visiting one of its most iconic locations. The Island Games teams, fresh from Gibraltar, gave demonstrations including a closed shooting range, while the Scouts hosted nature activities and toasted marshmallows. Amanda Pickard, English Heritage Property Manager at the castle, said, "We really enjoyed seeing so many people at the castle, experiencing what an amazing place we have here. We look forward to welcoming them all back soon." There was a vintage fairground, bouncy castle and cardboard castle building, plus human table football where players took to the rails of a life-size table pitch, holding on to their bars and kicking their way to victory. Children could learn about the pirate life, meet enchanted isle princesses, have their faces painted and get crafty. Islanders were also encouraged to take part in the big coastal clean-up, with the 7-foot-tall crab mascot, Nipper, leading the initiative. With beach cleans taking place all over the island, as many as 40 volunteers joined the Wight Link-led one, with a dozen sacks full of rubbish collected from Ryde Pier and the beach towards Apley. Unusual items found included a toy gun, a bowling pin, diving mask, goggles and various items of clothing. It was a beautiful morning and it was really nice to have so many Wight Link people, many with families, coming together to do a bit for the good of the environment, said Wight Link's Louise Lee. Sunday saw a sellout crowd at Cowes Enterprise College for a Songs of Praise concert featuring the 75-strong Isle of Wight Symphony Orchestra and an 80-strong choir made up of the Medina Community Choir, the Cantus Vesperi Choir and children from Carisbrooke Primary. Robin Courage, founder of Isle of Wight Day, said, "This fourth Isle of Wight Day lived up to all expectations and it was wonderful to see so many families entering into the spirit." Isle of Wight Day 2020 will be held on Saturday, September the 19th.
Wight Link unveils new green agenda. Wight Link has unveiled a green agenda with targets aimed at increasing recycling, replacing single-use plastics, reducing food miles and cutting emissions. The plans were unveiled at a meeting with community stakeholders held at the ferry company's Fishbourne terminal. After outlining the strategy to look after the Solent and its coastline, Chief Executive Keith Greenfield then invited guests on a round trip to Portsmouth on board Wight Link's £30 million hybrid energy flagship Victoria of Wight. Wight Link's environmental officer Nicola Craig and head of retail Simon Lewis spoke about green initiatives that have been introduced across the routes. They include increasing recycling, replacing plastic cutlery with sustainable wooden alternatives, reducing food miles by buying from Isle of Wight suppliers, cutting emissions and providing electric vehicle charging points at ports. Among the guests were representatives from the Isle of Wight Council, Fishbourne Parish Council, schools and businesses. Staff from Visit Isle of Wight spoke about the Green Star scheme, which acknowledges companies that promote sustainable transport. Wight Link has been awarded a gold star for its efforts. Mr. Greenfield said, "We care about the environment and will do our best to protect the sea, land and air that surrounds us. We will always consider environmental factors as we operate our ships and ports and when we make business decisions. We will continually look for new ways to reduce our environmental footprint." For further information about Wight Link's green agenda, visit www.wightlink.co.uk/green.
3 forts come with £9 million price tag. 3 historic forts built in the Solent in the 1860s are up for sale for £9 million. The forts are being sold by entrepreneur Mike Clare, founder of bed company Dreams. They were built by Prime Minister Lord Palmerston when the country feared invasion by the French. By the time they had been completed, the threat had gone, and they became known as Palmerston's Follies. Two of the forts, No Man's Fort and Spitbank Fort, have been painstakingly redeveloped into exclusive hotels. The third, Horse Sand Fort, is currently used to record the history of the Follies and retains the 100 chambers and living quarters, original gun carriages and armour-plated walls. The hotels are being sold through real estate advisor Colliers, and the freehold estimate for them combined is more than £8 million. Horse Sand Fort is being sold by auction through Clive Empson auctioneers, with bids starting at $750,000. Paul Barrisford of Colliers said, "This is an incredible opportunity to acquire two of the most remarkable properties to come to the market in recent years." Rob Marchant, auctioneer at Clive Empson, said, "We sell some incredible land and properties at our auctions, and these forts must be among the most historically interesting." No Man's Fort has 23 ensuite guest bedrooms, staff quarters, a restaurant, 5 themed bars, laser battle play area and a spa. The fort has 99,000 square feet over 4 floors and includes a lighthouse with private dining, rooftop hot tubs, sauna, fire pit, hot pool and helipad. Spitbank Fort has 9 luxury guest suites, a restaurant, 2 bars, a wine cave, sauna, fire pit and hot pool.
Eviction will rip them to pieces. People with learning disabilities living in supported housing are facing eviction with only 7 days' notice. Due to a disagreement between the Isle of Wight Council and the Ride House Group, the private provider that runs Ride House, 12 residents could be forced to leave next week. The council, which provides funding for residents' care and support, said the company had given notice to the authority stating its intention to give 7 days' notice to the residents' families. The sister of one resident, Julie Bolton, who has lived at Ride House for 14 years, warned the move would rip them to pieces. Trudy Dent said, "Julie needs one-to-one care. She has the mental age of a child. She cannot walk, dress herself or cook for herself. Ride House has been amazing for my sister and I really don't want her to move. Neither do the other families. This will rip them to pieces. They won't know how to cope with the stress, the move or the strangers." Eviction notices were due to be sent yesterday, leaving families with no choice but to find new homes for their loved ones. It is possible some will have to move to the mainland. The council said discussions with the company were continuing in a bid to resolve the issue, and residents' welfare was its absolute priority. However, the company said the council had assessed the care needs of the residents as being lower than the care currently provided. A spokesperson said, "We have disagreed with the council's assessment. Therefore, with great reluctance and regret, we have informed the council of our intent to give formal notice. We are passionate about delivering excellent quality care and support. We could not, however, continue to provide this standard of care and support if we were to agree to the assessments by the council." Residents' families were invited to a meeting with the council on Tuesday, but Trudy said they were left none the wiser. They said they couldn't tell us where the residents were going. They seemed to be battling it out between themselves, blaming each other, she said.
Woman 89 scammed out of £2,000. Police are investigating an allegation of fraud after an elderly woman was scammed out of £2,000. The 89-year-old was targeted between 12:45 p.m. and 1:20 p.m. on Saturday by three men in a white transit van who charged her £2,000 for a small amount of gardening work. The woman's granddaughter, Katrina Gilderthorpe, said, "They cut down my nan's 4-foot tree, then went into her bungalow and asked her for money. When she said her grandson would do it, they told her he had sent them. They demanded £2,000, which she questioned. They followed her into her bedroom and took her life savings. They left saying the van was full and they would be back to finish the job." Anyone with information about the incident or other similar incidents in the area can call the police on 101.
New dimension at Physics Festival. The island's Noel Turner Physics Festival is back bigger than ever, thanks to an exciting new partnership with Winchester Science Centre and Planetarium, WSCP. The festival, which has inspired and engaged Isle of Wight school children in physics for the past 3 years, is expected to welcome more than 3,000 children over 2 days. Winchester Science Centre is calling for support from the STEM industry within the region to support the event, which is set to take place on February the 6th and 7th. We are very excited to be working on the Isle of Wight to deliver next year's festival, and are hugely grateful for the continued support of the festival host, Cowes Enterprise College, sponsor BAE Systems and Festival Committee, said Ben Ward, WSCP Chief Executive. Our charity is committed to engaging as many children as possible in STEM, and the festival provides an excellent opportunity to do this on the Isle of Wight. The festival, which will have more activities on offer and has been renamed the Noel Turner Science Festival, is aiming to raise aspirations and interest in all aspects of science, technology, engineering and maths. The WSCP team will bring a new dimension to the festival with a pop-up version of its popular Science Centre experience, complete with live science shows, demonstrations and hands-on exhibits and activities. Set up by a local steering group to commemorate the life of island resident Noel Turner, a senior radar design engineer with BAE Systems, the festival is supported by Noel Turner's widow, Ellen Weeks. The festival is a fabulous event, and Noel would have been delighted that it engages so many people across the island, said Ellen. We aim to make it even bigger and better than before. To find out more, contact the festival event officer at Winchester Science Centre by calling 01962 863 791 or emailing ntsf@winchestersciencecentre.org.
Hospital cafe losing foyer spot. A charity cafe at St Mary's Hospital is having to move from its lucrative foyer location to make way for a commercial replacement. The Friends of St Mary's FOSM cafe is relocating its busiest cafe to the outpatients department, so the replacement, believed to be a Costa, can take its place. The charity also has a cafe in the Laidlaw unit and will retain its foyer shop. The Friends of St Mary's have had a cafe at St Mary's for 32 years and raised more than £1 million in the last 18 years to help fund new equipment and facilities at the hospital. A spokesperson for the Isle of Wight NHS Trust said, "We plan to introduce a new commercial cafe. The redevelopment of the main entrance will be better for patients, their families and NHS staff, as they will have greater choice and benefit from longer opening hours."
Island Roads off the hook. Claims Island Roads has been let off the hook over the Highways PFI contract have been refuted by the Isle of Wight Council leader, who said the contractor was not obliged to resurface every road. At last Wednesday's full council meeting, independent Labour councillor Jeff Brodie challenged Councillor Dave Stewart to hold Island Roads to account over the project. When the Highways PFI contract was approved, Councillor Brodie said it was on the understanding every road would be upgraded during the initial 7-year core investment period, which he said Island Roads had not delivered, and then maintain over the 25-year life of the project. But Councillor Stewart said that was incorrect. He said the contract requires Island Roads to bring the network up to an agreed average standard, not to upgrade every single road. To upgrade roads when there is no need would not only be wasteful, but cause unnecessary inconvenience. He said that only 523 kilometres of the 818-kilometre road network will be upgraded by the end of the initial 7-year period. During the remaining 18 years, other roads will be upgraded and maintained. Councillor Stewart said, "I would like to reassure you we are holding Island Roads to its contractual commitments. While there is still more work to do, the progress so far has transformed the network from one of the worst in the country to one of the best. And without the PFI funding and the contract, this would not have been possible." Speaking after the meeting, Councillor Brodie said, "It is clear from these rambling excuses this council leadership has no intention of holding Island Roads to account for its failure to deliver. Reports to Cabinet just before the contract was agreed said every road would be upgraded. I have presentations made at public meetings saying that. Councillors Stewart and Ward may be having tea and biscuits with Island Roads management, but they are letting them off the hook. There are many island roads that are very far from the best, or even the average, even in the looking glass world of this contract."
Violence at kebab shop. A kebab house could have its licence revoked following a spate of violent incidents, including incidents of staff attacking customers. Police have asked Isle of Wight Council to review the licence for the kebab house ride, raising concerns about public safety, crime and disorder. A meeting of the licensing subcommittee is due to take place today, Friday. Police have provided details about several violent incidents at the High Street takeaways since late 2016, including staff being violent towards customers, shown on CCTV, and raised concern it has stayed open later than it should have. Police have said the licence holder, Sayit Kal, had ignored officers' advice. And it's goodbye from Chris.
And Brian.
Good morning, this is Chris.
And Megan.
Reading the second part of the County Press on the 27th of September. Starting with the letters.
Right, well, here is a letter entitled "Show a Credit" from Guy Glover, American Auto Club, Shanklin. I am a member of the American Auto Club on the island who attended both days of the International Classic Car Show, Newport Key, on Saturday and Ryde on Sunday. The show was a huge success, with both public and exhibitors attending in large numbers, and compares favourably with any show one is likely to visit in the UK. The American Auto Club Isle of Wight was able to display more than 20 cars, some of which were guests from the mainland. We need to remember the original reason for this show was to bring money to the island as the summer season came to a close. Many of the owners of cars displayed at the show were staying in for 4 days or more in hotels or campsites, eating out at restaurants and taking taxis, etc. All extra income in addition to the money collected for the charities the show supports on the show days. My club wishes to thank Vic Gallucci for all the hard work he puts into organising the show, and all the marshals who have to bring in some sort of order. I know from personal experience this can be a thankless task. So thanks on behalf of us all. We are already looking forward to next year's event and hope more island concerns will see the benefits of this show that this show brings to our island and support this brilliant weekend. As Vic always says, next year will be bigger and better.
Bob Seeley MP writes, being heard in Westminster. When I became the island's MP, I pledged to make sure the island was listened to in the corridors of power, and this is beginning to happen. Just a fortnight ago, we received the great news of £26 million investment in Island Line, newer rolling stock, better track, more regular services and other additions like ticket machines, Wi-Fi on trains and stations. This is great news for the island and long overdue. With the support of local campaign groups, especially Keep the Island Line in franchise, I have relentlessly made the case for the route. And earlier this year, Network Rail confirmed millions of pounds in funding for repairs to Ryde Railway Pier, meaning the future of the Island Line is now secure. We have now had some key achievements in the past 2 years. Money for the Island Line and the pier, £48 million for the NHS, and recognition that the Isle of Wight is just that, an island. However, they are only achievable when we work together. For example, the Island Line deal, which at one point looked close to failing, was only possible because the train company kept making the case, and critically the council and the Solent Local Enterprise Partnership were willing to invest modest sums too. For my part, I made it very clear to ministers that closing the line was not an option. In another example, we could not have kept Sandown School open without everyone involved, councillors, the Sandown community and myself working together. I am hoping for more good news in the weeks ahead as we seek to secure investment. There is a clear lesson here. When your council, MP and others work together, we are in a strong position to get what we need for the good of all islanders. I don't always agree with the council. For example, the island plan seeks to build too many houses, which will not even be for islanders. However, I am relieved the council is willing to work with me to try to improve the housing numbers. But where I disagree, I seek to persuade rather than merely criticise. People who seek public office need to suggest how to make things better, not just carp and complain. Having had the wonderful privilege of being your Member of Parliament for 2 years, the lesson for me is clear. Working together works.
And now from Steve Cowley, Shalfleet, a letter entitled Councillor Wrong. Councillor Paul Brading seems confused about what he is doing regarding the West Wight school places. He gave the impression at the last cabinet meeting he still had the power to move Yarmouth Primary, which is a school of choice for many, to the All Saints site, despite our group having received a letter from the Isle of Wight Council Legal Department saying only the Yarmouth school governors could do this. We know from a letter sent to Councillor Brading the governors are totally against such a move on educational and financial grounds. He also said, confusingly, he wanted to refurbish All Saints and to shut one of the 5 West Wight schools, but he did not say which one. There are major barriers to closing rural schools that are both educationally good and financially sound as Yarmouth and Shalfleet, with which it is federated, are. Since the start of the consultation, both All Saints and Bryston have agreed to reduce their pupil admission numbers, PAN, which will go a long way to address the need to reduce pupil places. If he decides to close All Saints to refurbish it, it will have to reopen as an academy, which will be strongly opposed in the West Wight. Island-wise academies are failing our children. With All Saints PAN now reduced to 15, giving a school of only 105, the Department of Education will not fund a 210 pupil school. This fiasco has been going on for too long. Our children's education is suffering. Parents cannot plan their children's education, and schools are blighted by Paul Brading's conflicting messages.
Coastal Heroes from Richard Adams of Bournemouth. Following a recent holiday at St Catherine's Point, I wish to express my admiration for volunteer coastguard service in the Knighton and Ventnor area. I had to ask for help one evening when it was getting dark and my partner had failed to return from a walk on the cliffs, and the speed of response was wonderful. The numerous members of the crew were starting to fan out and would undoubtedly have found her had they not been forestalled by the remarkable Dominic from Brading, who had responded to her cries for help and eventually found her trapped among a mass of brambles. The concern which the crew showed when she reappeared, the care with which her wounds were tended, the refusal to accept an apology for having been called out, and their understanding in my relief are all testament to a superb service.
All right, from White Memories. Dirty people behaving in a dirty manner. An excuse for dirty people to behave in a dirty manner. That extract from a letter to the county press introduces this second part of Ray Fulk's account of how he and his brothers put on the Wootton Festival. Ray recalls a bizarre press conference at the Halland Hotel Seaview, where all the world's press flocked to get a look at Dylan after his 3 years in seclusion. All press, that is, except the county press. A totally different beast to today's county press, the editor, despite a world coup dropping right into his lap, decided the festival was not to receive any coverage. Not a word of the festival appeared until after the event, when the paper, aided and abetted by the local MP Mark Woodnut, launched an all-out attack on proceedings. Meanwhile, with the festival just days away, Ray arranged the press conference. He said, "Part of my agreement with Dylan's management was that he wouldn't get hassled by the press, he wouldn't be expected to give any interviews, and we'd protect him from the long lenses and the snooping media. But we needed to sell tickets, and sell them fast, because we had a lot of money to raise, and I'm getting it in the neck from the office saying we want more coverage. Can we get some interviews anyway?" It was very difficult. but they finally settled on a single press conference at the Halland Hotel Seaview, and that would be it, just one media event. The press conference was surreal. There was a whole bank of cameras and microphones, and they were asking rather stupid questions. One of the first ones was, "Do you think microphones are like guns?" And then they started asking what Dylan thought about drugs, and he didn't want to talk about that, and he was looking around for someone else to answer it, and so on. It was not a great press conference. Dylan didn't like the press. "Help Bob Dylan sink the Isle of Wight" stickers were all over the place. You saw them everywhere. One day, Dylan wanted to go anonymously to Osborne House with his wife, and he was loaned a Triumph Herald by one of the staff. When he went to get it, there was one of these stickers on the windscreen, and he starts to unpeel it. He didn't want that on there, and it wouldn't come off. And he lost his temper and said, "Damn these things, they're everywhere," and stormed off. He was very angry, and I was a bit shocked at his outburst. He eventually ended up going off in his chauffeur-driven limousine instead. We had an excellent site at Wootton. The farmer, Mr. Phillips, was great. I remember visiting him at his house and getting the contract signed, but a little later the site engineers put the stage right alongside his farmhouse, literally 50 yards away.
I was thinking, oh my God, I don't know what he's going to think of that. I don't think he had any idea of how big it was going to be, but he was all right about it. It was just a commercial letting of the field for him. I remember arriving at the site at the Friday night about 6 o'clock, and I drove through the lanes with lots of people everywhere, went backstage, and I walked up on the stage and got a glimpse of the audience. That was the first time I'd seen the arena full of people, and it took my breath away. That was an incredible feeling. Suddenly, I felt we'd done it. We'd pulled it off. We've got this huge audience here. It was full, a massive sea of people with a group performing, and everybody was enjoying themselves. That was really quite a wonderful moment. And then at various points I was just going round the site, talking to people who were doing various jobs and making sure everything was all right, and it was. The festival was a success. We learnt a huge amount from the 69 festival. We learnt that we needed more toilets, that we couldn't rely on giving concessions to caterers because they ripped everybody off, so we should do it ourselves, and we learnt how to deal with the local authority. They could threaten us with injunctions, and so we cooperated. We wanted to cooperate. We weren't cowboys. We were young professionals trying to do a job. As for money, we'd been living hand to mouth prior to the festival. We had a little bit from our own resources. My printing business, which I set up when I was 21, was still running, and we were able to borrow a certain amount from the bank. So we just got a living. We didn't take out much of an income. We weren't the sort of people that were big spenders, never have been, so we were able to maintain a modest livelihood out of the situation. I think that I benefited from the festival. It gave us the confidence to do almost anything in the future. It certainly did. The following year, Ray and his brothers put on the 1970 festival, featuring The Who, Jimi Hendrix and The Doors. And in the crowd, taking it all in, was a 16-year-old boy called John Giddings.
Join IWASP and help stop scams. This month we are trying to raise awareness around the Isle of Wight against Scams Partnership, IWASP, and the work it does. IWASP is a partnership which now comprises 27 partners, all of whom can be found on our website. Each partner has signed up to the IWASP Charter and is committed to raising awareness and protecting residents. These partners have had scam awareness training and are ideally suited to support victims or refer them to an appropriate partner. If you are an organisation which would be interested in becoming a partner in IWASP, contact trading.standards at iow.gov.uk for further information. We are also happy to give talks to community groups and attend events. We will be in Newport Library on Thursday, October the 3rd, as part of the Celebrating Age Festival, with Age UK delivering advice and refreshments free of charge at an event called Tea and Technology, Scones and Scams. Come along and find out how to keep yourself safe from scams and doorstep crime, or undergo an awareness session to help protect you and those you care about from scams. For advice on scams, call Citizens Advice Consumer Helpline 03454040506. To report a scam, call Action Fraud 0300 123 2040. Visit www.iwasp.org.uk for more information. Now, under the section My View, here is Malcolm Mime. And the title is Don't Scare Children About Climate Change, accompanied by a poster here, photo of a poster here, There Is No Planet B. Mrs. Mime is a very placid, easygoing woman, and it takes an awful lot to upset her. So when she telephoned me from Newport High Street last Friday in an absolute rage, I knew something serious must have happened. It transpired Mrs. M was being stopped from getting home by protesters blocking the road outside County Hall. My immediate thought was that, at last, the good people of the island had become so incensed with the prices and services of the ferries that they had taken to the streets to insist something be done about it. But as Mrs. M's rant continued, it soon became apparent the protest was in fact a bunch of lefties and school kids protesting about climate change. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a climate change denier, but it is the hypocrisy of these protesters that annoys me, and also the way children are used. When Margaret Thatcher was closing down the coal mines in the 1980s, who was it who took to the streets demonstrating? Those on the left. And their argument was it was wrong to put the miners out of work. And yet, here we now have those same protesters telling us our carbon emissions are too high and we shouldn't be burning coal. What is more, those on the march in Newport were clutching plastic water bottles. Anyone concerned about climate change should get their own house in order before lecturing the rest of us. If you are concerned about climate change, you wouldn't drive a car, use plastics, fly in aeroplanes, or eat meat and dairy. Going on a climate change protest while you are still contributing to climate change is the equivalent of going on an animal liberation march while tucking into a McDonald's. But apart from the hypocrisy of these protesters, it is the use of children in protests and the messages they pick up which really annoys and worries me. It was bad enough seeing all those children being used in Brexit marches, both for and against. What do children need to know about the pros and cons of the European Union? But for children to be made to feel frightened about climate change is wrong. scaring the life out of our children by making them think the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't get to grips with climate change, could do all sorts of damage to their well-being. If you want to protest about climate change, may I suggest you lose the hypocrisy and, as Pink Floyd once said, leave them kids alone. Oh, and don't do it in Newport High Street where Mrs. M is trying to get home with the frozen foods.
And now for the County Press local events. East Wight. The Isle of Wight branch of the Royal Navy Association will meet on Tuesday at the Simeon Arms Ride at 7:30 p.m. Shipmates are invited to come along for a noggin and natter. For further information, call Dave Brown on 617754 or email davidbrown.isleofwight165@btinternet.com. Holy Cross Church Binstead opens for tea every Sunday afternoon from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Enjoy homemade cakes in a peaceful and picturesque churchyard setting. St Helens Health Walks take place every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to around 1 p.m. Meet at the Sports Pavilion on St Helens Green. The walks are varied, usually between 4 and 8 miles, and take place around the St Helens, Seaview, Bembridge and Brading areas. A shorter walk for those requiring one is available. Keep fit and make new friends. For further information, contact Maurice Dix, that's D-I-X, on 07854 368 419 or email maurice.dix@btinternet.com. Spring Chicks Keep Fit and Dance exercise classes for women over 40 are held at Binstead Community Centre. There are a variety of classes at different times. For more information, email Alice Blue, that's B-L-U-E, on aliceblue@gmail.com or call 0775 838 169. And the Seaview Fun Choir meets every Thursday from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Undercroft at St Peter's Church. Sessions cost £2 to cover the cost of refreshments. For more information, call Wendy on 716 720 or 07413 028 326. Ryde Recorded Music Society will meet at Ryde Methodist Church, Garfield Road at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. A chess club meets on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. at Bembridge Village Hall, 2 p.m. per evening. Tea, coffee and biscuits are available. All are welcome. For more information, see the Isle of Wight Chess Facebook page or email chessplay@mail.com. Soprano Annalisa Vaughan will hold a voice coaching session at Moncton Arts Ride at 10:30 a.m. every Friday. For details, call 07757 965 339.
And the Good Grief Trust will hold a pop-up cafe at the Green Room, Salisbury Gardens, Ventnor on Thursday 2:30 to 4 p.m. Bereaved people are welcome to share their stories and make new friends over a cuppa and a slice of cake. For more information, or if you want a quick chat first, call Sue on 07922 577735. No need to book, just turn up. Brading Roman Villa will hold a coffee morning on Tuesday at 11 a.m.
The Alzheimer's Cafe takes place on Wednesday 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Salisbury Gardens, Ventnor, a free informal meeting for people living with dementia, their families, friends and carers. For further information, call 220-200 or email Alzheimer Cafe Isle of Wight at btconnect.com. Ventnor Baptist Church has a drop-in centre on Wednesday between noon and 2 p.m. Gospel Hall, Langard Road, Shanklin will hold a free coffee morning at 10:30 on Wednesday. The Undercliff Singers meet at St Catherine's Church, Ventnor on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. A coffee morning takes place at Sandown Methodist Church on Tuesday 10:15 to 11:30. 10:15 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. A Scale Model Club meets on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. at St John's Annex, Sandown. Shanklin Youth and Community Centre will hold an adult social and activity for over 40s from 10 a.m. to noon on Thursday. Quizzes, pool, games and more. TC's is the Friday night venue for those in Year 5 or above from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a disco, gaming lounge and sweets and drinks bar. Wight Seated Exercise meets at Brading Methodist Church on Wednesday 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Get fit in a fun social environment. £3 per session, including refreshments. For further details, call Lucy on 075 61 114143. Shanklin Community Library runs its Keep Calm and Carry On sewing sessions every Wednesday, 10 a.m. to noon, and a Calming Colouring Club on Fridays at 1:45 p.m. Brading Community Choir meets at St Mary's Church Hall on Tuesday, 7:15 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. All abilities and ages welcome. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult. No auditions, just turn up and sing. The Old School Cafe at Brading Youth and Community Centre is open from 10 a.m. every Monday and Friday. Enjoy a game of pool, play darts, research your family history and meet new friends. It's dog friendly. Central Wight. Terry and Vicky of Club Dance Pegasus will hold a waltz and salsa dance class at the Riverside Centre, Newport on Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. To book, call 07540 880 989 or visit www.pegasus-dance.co.uk. A coffee morning for upper gastrointestinal cancer patients, their family and friends will be held at Newport Congregational Church, Pyle Street on Thursday, 10:30 to noon. Come along for a chat, information and support. Isle of Wight Quakers will hold a 30-minute peace vigil in St Thomas's Square, Newport, on Wednesday at 1:30. It will take place during Quaker Week to share the Quaker message with the wider community. A variety concert by the St John's Church Choir, conducted by Joe Dover, will be held at Newport Methodist Church on Wednesday at 7 p.m. There will be light refreshments and a collection for the Wight Brainy Bunch. The Good Grief Trust will hold a pop-up cafe at God's Providence House, Newport on Wednesday 2:30 to 4 p.m. Bereaved people are welcome to share their stories and make new friends over a cuppa and a slice of cake. For more information, if you want a quick chat first, call Sue on 07922 577735. No need to book, just turn up.
Will be held on Wednesday at Totland Church Hall, 2:15pm to 3:30pm, for active people aged 55 and over. To book, call Michelle on 754189. And a charity race night will take place next Friday, October the 4th, at Wight Sports and Community Centre at 7pm. The event, supported by Freshwater Co-op Funeral Care, will feature 8-horse races broadcast on a big screen with bookies taking £1 bets. Bar and food available. Cash prizes, free entry and a raffle. The Knit and Natter Crochet and Chatter Group meets on Tuesday at Freshwater Library at 10am. And then a woodwind day for flute, clarinet, oboe, saxophone, bassoon or recorder players, grade 3 and above, will be held next Saturday, October the 5th, at Hillview House, Bedbury Lane, Freshwater Bay, 10am to 4pm, £75 per person. To book, call 754767. And the West Wight Dementia Choir will meet on Wednesday at Freshwater Methodist Church Hall, 10:30am to 12:30pm. We welcome all to come along and have some fun. A free computer buddy session has been organised by the Friends of Freshwater Library. Anyone who needs help with a computer or laptop can call 752377 to book a time slot. Limited spaces available. And then there's the West Wight Floral Art Group, which will hold a talk by Harriet Robinson entitled Not Only Gardens, that is KNOT, Not Only Gardens, but Embroidery too, at All Saints Parish Hall, Victoria Road, Freshwater, on Thursday 6:30 for 7pm. Cost £3 to include tea and coffee. And David Shirley will present The Magic of Great Music at Freshwater Memorial Hall on Wednesday at 2:30pm. He will include Italian operatic pieces by Rossini, Donizetti, Verdi and Puccini.
North Wight. Northwood Parish Council meets on Tuesday at Northwood Primary School at 6:30pm. Gurnard Village Cottage Garden Society meets on Wednesday at Gurnard Village Hall, Worsley Road at 7:30pm. An art and craft group meets at St Mary's Church Cowes on Thursday 2pm to 4pm, £1.50 per person, all welcome, with help available to learn crafts including knitting, card making and crochet. For further information, call Heather on 298851. The St Mark's Tuesday discussion group meets at the Wootton Church on Tuesday 10:30 to noon. Sing About, the music therapy group, meets on Thursday at 2pm at St James's Church, East Cowes. Coffee and chat mornings are held every Thursday at East Cowes Methodist Church, 10am to noon. A number of friendly skill-sharing groups meet at the Beckford Centre, Cowes. There are art sessions on Monday and Thursday, 1:30pm to 4pm. Local history on Monday, crafts on Tuesday, and a discussion group on Thursday, all 10am to noon. Photography every other Wednesday, 2pm to 4pm. And stitchcraft on Tuesday, 2pm to 4pm. Further information, call 294744 and leave your contact details. And it's goodbye from Chris
and Megan.
BBC Sounds, music, radio, podcasts. The background to the Blind Beauty Guide was 6 years of making videos after my video Blind Goddess Around Makeup went viral, and visually impaired people coming to me in workshops saying, how do you do your makeup, Lucy? How do you do it? And I kept giving the same advice as I did, and I completely don't mind doing that. That's my job, but I thought I'd put it into a guide.
Well, also with us is Emma Tracy. So Emma, I mean, what's your relationship with makeup?
I'm definitely not obsessed with makeup. What I would like to be is competent at it, to be able to just quickly in the morning do a simple day look, and then if I was going out on a rare night out nowadays, a bit of a night look, whatever that means. So I think I'd love to be competent, but I don't feel like I have the time or want to spend a huge amount of time learning and trying and testing. I think it's brilliant and fantastic that Lucy has done that for me, and I'm just going to take advantage of all the hours that she spent trying stuff out so that I can do it nice and quickly before I leave for work.
I just wondered how much time you actually do take on your makeup at the moment.
Me? I'm lucky if I put tinted moisturiser on and maybe a little bit of lip gloss. That's probably the extent of my daytime look if I'm leaving the house. If I'm not leaving the house, there's no makeup applied. At night, if I was going on a night out, I would chance a bit of foundation, a bit of blusher and a bit of eyeshadow, but like one colour of eyeshadow. The blusher I've had for a few years, the foundation I got last Christmas, and I do it all with my fingers.
Okay.
So it's very basic.
Emma, what I would say is that's a really great start, and a lot of visually impaired women do start with using their hands. I do it. Indeed, when I'm feeling a bit tired, when the mood takes me, I tend to apply my foundation with my hands, and then I go in with a beauty blender, which is the first tip.
A beauty what is a beauty blender?
A beauty blender.
The only blender I have is one that I make soup with.
A beauty blender is something that I really needed when I first went blind, because I was doing my foundation all wrong according to my sister. So it's a little sponge that is a teardrop shape, and you run it under a cold tap for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you squeeze out the excess, so it is damp but it's not drenched.
Okay, I brought a sponge, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I don't use it. I just
I've
carry
got
it around
sponge
in my
as well.
bag. Can I show you mine?
Yeah, I'll show you
Is
mine
this
if you show me
Yeah.
yours.
Is this a teardrop shape? It looks kind of like a...
Oh yeah, that's
Looks a bit rude.
That's a beauty blender. I love it. What do
Same.
you use that for then?
Nothing. I carry it around in my bag.
I love it though. Well, basically, you need to put that into water, squeeze it out, and you'll apply your foundation flawlessly. You dab that on your face. Do you want me to show you the motion?
Which end?
Well, the bigger end on the big parts of your face, and then that goes under your eyes. The
right.
tinier part, like the point to it, if you like.
Okay, so just to explain what it looks like, it's got a kind of angled flat end, and then it's got a pointy end like a pencil, and the middle bit is a bit like an egg shape. So it's like an egg with one sort of cut out bit at one end and a pointy bit at the other end. So apparently the flat bit's for my face.
Yeah, lovely. And it's meant to sort of be shaped perfectly to get into the contours of your face, if you like.
So the pencil bit goes under my eyes. So I mean, I have liquid foundation in a
lovely.
tube, right? How do I squirt that onto the sponge?
So if you're not confident with applying foundation, what I tend to do in my workshops is say, right, get as much foundation as you want on your hands as you think that you would like to go on your face. Dab it on maybe your forehead, your cheeks, a little bit on your nose, a little bit on your chin, so you're evenly spreading it, just slightly dabbing with your hands, and then have your wet beauty blender and dab it all over your face. Sort of I'll do it to the...
So dab it. Can you do it? Can you just... Let me show you my sponge. Okay, so just like... I'm just basically splapping the flat end.
But I'm probably doing it very hard so people can hear. But
how do I know how much foundation to put on my hands, though?
So I would say average, if you want quite a light coverage, this is just a general rule I go for, 1 pump on each half of your face.
Okay, but mine's a tube, so...
Let me have a look.
Hang on. Let me get it out from underneath the baby wipes.
A go-to, though. They're good to get makeup off.
Oh, here we go.
But always double cleanse.
Right.
So what I would do, maybe like, if you have a pea on your plate, maybe 2 peas then, if you want like a light amount.
2 peas of foundation.
Yeah, 2 peas.
Cool.
That would be lovely.
Okay, so I dab it all over my face.
Yeah.
And then what?
Then, well, in your head, I would say to yourself, I have like quadrants in my head that I go for. So I go left, have I done the left, right, top right, bottom left, bottom right, have I done my nose? Because sometimes I don't get my nose balls, which a lot of people don't call them nose balls, but it's like the inner bits of your nose. Those are the bits
inner bits of my nose.
So, you know, the indentations.
You mean where it kind of it goes in?
Yeah.
Yes, like
between
like
the chambers.
the dents.
Yeah, the dents
on the
before
side
your
of,
nostril.
on the sides of your
on the
nose.
sides of your nose there.
Yeah.
All right.
And
See, Peter knows more about nose balls.
Yeah, I do.
I've never heard them called nose balls
I just
before.
call them that. I don't know why.
And do I put it on my eyelids?
What I do there is just the excess bit on the beauty blender, just swipe over. But you do, if you put a lot of foundation on your eyelids, you have to make sure you set it afterwards because it gets all creasy.
You set it. Oh no, what's
I know.
setting? Don't. So how far down below my face do I go? Because I never know how. Like depending on what top I have on, I don't want to get it on my top, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
and I don't want to line where my top ends and my makeup begins. And oh my
I've
goodness.
got you. Well, in my book, I do say how to go and independently match your foundation because you can do this independently, even though you can't see, which is what I do quite a lot of the time. If I hear about a new foundation on the market, I always want to try it. So I always say go in with your palms at the ready because that bit of your hand lets the person who's selling you the foundation know what tone of foundation to get you, and you just rub it on.
Okay, okay.
So when you're going into the supermarket, just give it a rub, see if it matches, and then the rule is hopefully then it will match to your neck and your face, and you just sort of slightly only just about blend onto your décolletage.
So what do I ask for? I mean, obviously I need a sighted makeup counter person to say this is what matches your skin tone, right?
Yeah.
I can't actually just walk up to the rack of foundations and pick one.
Yeah. You would say, hello, I am looking for a matte or a dewy finish foundation.
Okay, what does dewy mean?
So dewy is, if you've got a dry skin, you want a more dewy look, so a more hydrated look. It's got more hydrating products in it, would have more moisturiser elements to it. And if you are more dewy skin, you'd want a matte look, so your foundation doesn't swap. So you want the opposite to what you are.
So basically,
you need to learn a new language, don't you?
I know. This is it, isn't it?
It's all in the book.
So when I asked how far down do I go and where do I put the foundation? So below my chin, all around that.
And
so that I
down
don't get a line.
slightly. Yeah, down slightly, just to the bottom of your neck, I would say.
And how do I make sure I don't have a line? Because everyone's always talking about this line.
The beauty blender will not give you a line. If you have good foundation that's matched properly in the beauty blender, it is genius.
So that's sort of foundation. What next?
What next is what every vision impaired person comes up to me and says is, how do I do my eyes? Sometimes I do find that hard if I do new products. What I would say is get a palette.
Right, I've got a palette. Hang on.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a palette.
Let's see your palette.
Right, here we go. You'll know I bet she'll know what it is just by feeling it.
Oh, I don't actually.
I don't either, so...
But it's nice packaging, Emma. It's very tactile.
It is,
I
but
can
you
see
know-
why you'd know that in your makeup bag.
But that is actually the ridgy, wrinkly bit, the bit that's really tactile. That is actually the lid.
The lid, yeah, that's definitely the lid.
I would have thought that was the bottom to keep it from sliding off my table. Anyway,
And
that's
then
not
you've
good on
got-
the radio, is it?
No.
So on the left is 6 colours, and on the right is a face powder.
Okay.
Face powder. Is that what they're called nowadays?
Yeah, or it might be a contour, but without prior knowledge of your palette as a blind girl, I wouldn't know.
I don't have a huge amount more knowledge of my palette than you do. So.
But what I would say is that's great. But so in front of me here, Emma, is a Z palette, and this is a palette that you can just buy, and it's got a magnetic bottom on it, and you can buy single eyeshadows, which is what I really recommend because look, you can take them out. Can you see the magnetic nature of them?
Right. Okay.
So you can order them in whatever way you want.
This is the answer to a thing I've been wondering about for a very long time, because I actually asked someone the colours in my palette and I've forgotten them already.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So what's really good is just I like 3, because the way to good eyeshadow is 3 colours. 1 light colour, 1 medium colour, 1 dark colour, and they're all matte, because I feel like putting a shimmer in your crease, it makes you look a bit weird, which we'll go into.
I won't put any shimmers in my crease then. How about that?
So
I'm struggling with that concept, I must admit, but still.
you're struggling. Yeah, no, basically If you put a shimmery eyeshadow on and it's like a pinky colour,
Yeah.
sometimes my sister said I look like I've been punched.
Oh gosh.
So,
right.
and sometimes it's not as easy to blend.
Right.
So matte is just always fail safe, and I've got sort of 3 neutral colours here. Browns are really easy to...
Okay. And what's the point of eyeshadow anyway?
Oh, okay, so
That's what I like, a good basic question.
I like that, yeah. The point of eyeshadow for me personally, and this is a question that would probably have different answers for every person in the world, but for me, I love to define my eye with a slightly darker colour because it opens them up, and you just feel a lot more awake. And when I have eyeshadow on, apparently that's what people say I look like.
But would actually having this eyeshadow combo that opens my eyes up, would that not draw more attention to my blindy looking eyes?
I think you should embrace who you are, Emma. And if you like your blindy eyes, which I'm sure everyone does, then...
Well, I mean, they're fine. They're there, like...
Well, I like it because I know that I look slightly left or slightly right, but it makes me feel proud of my eyes.
To have mine made
Putting
up.
something on.
Yeah. Can I ask a naive question? I mean, it's interesting hearing you talk about this because obviously you are striving for an effect, but then you have to rely on someone else to tell you whether you've actually achieved it. Is that frustrating?
It can be, but because I used to get really frustrated at it, actually, Peter. I used to think, oh, I can't put anything on without asking my sister. That's so annoying. But I have set products that I know the formulas of, and that I have one separate makeup bag that I'm like, right, I can do that on my own. Don't need anyone. Yaboo sucks to everyone. But separately, because I'm obsessed with makeup and addicted to it, I have a separate bag which I have in my drawer, and I say to myself, when I next see my sister Alice, we're going to play with this. It's because it's my hobby as well. Then that's really cool. But what I always say, and what I say in my book is, the more you do this and the more you stick to set products that are in your set routine with labelling, you can control everything.
So you have to be rather like kitchens. You have to, if you're blind or partially sighted, you've got to be pretty well organised.
You have to be organised. I have had so many blind girl meltdowns with my makeup bag sitting in front of me with 2 concealers in it, and you don't need 2 concealers. Put one in another's place, make yourself happy, put loads of bump-ons on it, tacti mark, elastic bands, different compartments. You can get these makeup bags that just pull out, and there's like 4 or 5 compartments. I have those. So, yeah.
And I was just looking at your single eyeshadows there, and I'd like to try them. Is that okay?
Perfectly
to try and
fine.
do it?
Yeah, go for it.
I was just looking at your single eyeshadows and thinking they're the perfect size for a pen friend sticker.
They are.
So, you know those...
You can put them on the back.
Yeah.
They're stickers with barcodes, and then you use a little pen device. You record a message on each one, and then you can put the pen on it, and it'll read out, light brown, middle of the eye, don't put too much on. Check with your mum before you go out.
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, and I, if I do use extra daring colour, I go on FaceTime, and I'm always going to admit that, sometimes I need a bit of help if I'm going for a red because they stain your eyes. But if you're going for a brown or an orangey colours, you can blend them yourself. You can.
So if I was to walk out of here, if I used a good foundation, had some eyeshadow, a bit of lip gloss.
Yeah.
And then could I maybe like glittery it up at the night time or something, just as an extra thing? Because, I hear people do like daytime makeup and nighttime makeup, and I don't know if I've got the time for learning how to do both. So if I just had those little tools that you've taught me today, or that you're going to teach me with the eyes, and then maybe like a bit of, I don't know, something, what could I do to jazz it up?
Oh, you could jazz it up with a bit of glitter liner, which is always a go-to for me.
Liner's scary though.
Oh, no, because you can get some clear liners with just glitter in them. It's not scary if you pat them on the middle of your eye. They don't fall out. You're not going to have a product all over your face. It's all the glitter is concealed into the one clear liner.
But isn't the eyeliner for the kind of the lines around your
The eyes. So you can get 2 types of liner. There's black. There's black liners, and then there's glitter liners, and there's all sorts of different things on the market. It is slightly overwhelming, Emma.
Okay.
And I can tell that it's a bit frustrating because I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go for this eyeshadow then.
Okay, let's go for the eyeshadow.
Okay, so this is your palette. This
Lovely.
here.
Yep, this is the palette. So,
and I open it up.
yeah. So I go from left to right.
Okay.
my left colour is my lightest, then it goes medium dark and then dark.
Okay.
So this colour, what I would do if you're starting eyeshadow, use your fingers.
So this is the leftist, most left.
Yeah, the left is most left in the
Okay.
palette. So you just dip your finger in there.
Flat on my finger.
Yeah,
flat.
finger.
Okay.
Rub it slightly, maybe 2 or 3 times left
Okay.
and right, and then press it on your eye. I don't want
On my
loads of swiping.
eyeball.
Yeah, on your eyeball.
Can I just give you your hand? Can I just show
Sure.
you where I'm going to put it? So, like, right on my eyeball. On
Yeah,
the middle.
there. Yeah,
Okay.
but not past your crease.
In the
so
middle.
I'll show you your crease.
Yeah. Show me my crease.
So that's your crease. You know, the crease of your eye.
So my crease is just before the bone
Yeah,
starts.
just before the bone starts. So you want the colour
On the
all on
squidgy bit.
all on the squidgy bit. Yeah,
All over it or just in the middle bit?
I'd say all over it,
All over the squidgy bit.
but start in the middle. I'd say, and press down. And I would say you need 3 or 4 presses because of this pigment. This
3 or 4
eyeshadow.
presses, what does that mean?
So 3 or 4 presses once, and then I'd dip back into the pan maybe once or twice.
Right,
And it depends on
so I've
the
just done
pigment
my...
of your
So that's for
eyeshadow.
each eye, right?
Yeah, that's for each eye. And then it depends on the pigment of your eyeshadow, on what formulas you go for. I would do it
This
with a
feels
sighted
kind of
person
empty.
first.
This feels kind of
Do
empty.
you feel empty doing it?
The left one feel the eyeshadow that I'm using.
Probably because I've pressed it, because I've used it quite a lot. Oh yeah, go around the sides, Emma, sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. I'm just doing the right eye now, all over the
I thought you
squidgy
meant you
bit.
felt empty, and I was like,
No,
oh,
no, I don't feel empty. I actually am really enjoying this. This is really, really helpful.
I think it's therapeutic and it's so tactile. It really makes my brain go somewhere else and just feel happy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm colouring in or
Yeah.
I'm like painting or something. Okay, I've done my eyes with one colour. Do I have to do all 3? Do we have time for all 3?
I don't think we have time.
I suspect not.
No, but basically, what I would tell you to do after this, just a sped up version, is dip an eyeshadow brush, quite a thin one, into the middle colour and dab all on your crease like a sort of line,
Okay.
and leave that. And then I'd do the same with the outer V. So your outer V is the outer portion of your eye. So I'd do the crease colour all on that crease.
On the bit with the bone.
Yeah, and then only half, which this is your outer V.
Yeah. So the outer triangle of
Outer
the
triangle
outer
of
edge
your
of your
eye.
eye. On the
And then
lightest colour.
I'd get you to blend them all, but that's a sped up version of what I'd say. But I'd
Clearly-
help you blend it.
Clearly, we're not going to have time for
No,
all this.
no.
This is the mini version. Just one thing I want to ask you, Lucy. Any tips for guys?
Any tips for guys? Well, guys can wear makeup for one, which I totally advocate for. But tips for guys, I would say if you want a tinted moisturiser, sometimes my fiance might wear a bit of tinted moisturiser if we're having some pictures, maybe for our wedding or something coming up. I would also say a good skincare routine is just across the board amazing for everyone, and that's what I say in my book as well. If you don't have a good skincare routine, you're not going to have much luck with putting stuff or makeup over bad skin.
Lucy.
Yeah.
What are, if any, the makeup don'ts for people who are visually impaired? What should we not attempt?
Okay. The most things that you get frustrated with. Personally, makeup don't number 1. Don't use a brush to put on your foundation because you can't see the brush strokes. If you're completely blind like myself and yourself, Emma, you just can't see them to blend. So you need a beauty blender, and it's just really lovely. I wouldn't go for really dark lipsticks to start with. You can definitely build up to them, but formula is key. You need a liquid lipstick that stays there all day, because if you're going to go with a bullet lipstick and it's going to be bright purple, it will smear all over. I've been to a party where it was all over my face, and luckily it was my best friend's. But
And don't use your fingers for foundation. Definitely use a sponge.
you can use your fingers to start with to dab it on, as I said to you, but use a sponge afterwards, because it is way more even coverage with a bit of water on that sponge. Yeah.
Can you use the same sponge for your foundation as you would for your powder?
Yes. So, but obviously you need to make sure to wash in between each day that you do it. But I would do your foundation with your sponge, and you can, yes.
Wash
I
the
would-
sponge, you mean?
Sorry, yes. I'm not. Let me say that again.
I do that.
No, it's funny.
Because I'm so excited, I get so passionate. I'm like,
You
blah, blah, blah.
really are. It's so lovely, and it actually makes me want to do it, and it makes me much more sort of willing to try, because you're really you want me to succeed.
I really want you to so badly, and this is what I do in my workshops. But what I was saying about the foundation is you can use a beauty blender for your powder afterwards to set. Do your foundation with your beauty blender as we discussed, Emma, but make sure to dip your sponge into the powder quite, not hard so it breaks, but quite tap quite strongly.
The fat bit.
Yeah, the fat bit. Right underneath your eyes, to set your concealer and to set your foundation. Dab it as you go, and then make sure to wash your beauty blender.
The sponge.
You're the sponge.
I'm so glad I got the sponge now.
Yeah, you really know. Okay, so mascara.
No.
Yeah, I know. It's really scary. If you really have sensitive eyes and you want to start mascara, go with a see-through mascara first. That's what I would say, because it's very easy to get all over your face. But make sure when you first get a new mascara, my first tip is to get a travel size, because it's really easy, because the depth perception us blind peeps...
Shorter.
Yeah, shorter.
Okay.
It's easier to get on your lashes.
But what's the point in putting a see-through mascara on if you can't, if it's see-through? Like, is it
really,
invisible mascara?
Yeah, it's kind of invisible, but it makes your lashes just look up about. It widens your eyes. I know it doesn't make masses of sense, but it does.
Okay.
Also, it's the process of putting it on that I want you to do over and over.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the depth perception that you need to do. I'd say it would take you a month to try and just get that muscle memory.
So everyone tells me that I don't need mascara, but if I'm getting my makeup done for something, they will put some on. But if I'm doing my makeup, people say, oh, you don't need to put mascara on, Emma. Your eyelashes are really, really good. Anyway, are they lying to me, or can that be actually a thing where someone...
No way. I think you're just very lucky, and you're just born with long, luscious lashes that are very upright. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so they're not lying to me. They're not just saying,
No.
oh, you wouldn't be able to put on mascara.
Not at all. I think you must just have really nice long lashes, but it will enhance... A mascara will make them more upright and longer and lengthened and volumed, and it would probably make your makeup look a lot more put together, even just a clear one, which I'd go for maybe first off.
And what about getting them tinted instead? Would that be easier? Or
Yes, definitely. A lot of blind girls and blind boys that I know get their eyelashes tinted. It can be quite sensitive if you do have different eye conditions, but it's definitely an option, and also eyelash extensions are too.
my eyes move so much. If they were getting tinted, maybe I'd get poked.
Well, exactly. It might be a bit of a problem. It depends how comfortable you are. Definitely, it's an individual's choice there.
And with the mascara, I was told to blink onto the brush. Is that the right thing to do?
Lovely. I love that. So you bring the mascara wand to your eye. Don't move the mascara wand and blink onto it. That's the best way to do it.
Because I'm pretty good at blinking.
Yeah. You can do that then. That's amazing. Really good. But also, my top tip with mascara is when you're getting a new one, air it for a few hours. And it's probably the opposite to other beauty gurus out there. They say, oh, a fresh mascara is amazing. But for blind girls and blind boys who are applying mascara, it can get all over our face. It smears a lot on the top of your lash, on your fingers, all in your makeup bag. It's a disaster, darling, waiting to happen.
So you take the top off and you leave it standing in something for a bit?
Yeah, just for a bit. Maybe an hour, maybe 2.
And what does that make it feel? What's the texture of it then?
So then we can feel it a lot. And if
Is
you
it
make
kind of
a mistake...
gritty, or what does it
No,
feel like then?
it just gets a bit more solid, and you can feel it going on your lashes a bit easier. Definitely. Okay. And you can feel when you've made a mistake.
Cool. Okay.
Well, it seems to me that you've done almost everything. I guess what you would say is if you haven't got an elder sister, you have to get the book.
Yeah, yay!
Lucy Edwards, Emma Tracy, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scaffolding news for Friday, 27th of September 2019. The list of known footway obstructions for works including scaffolding, hoarding, also details of skips, cranes and cherry pickers. We are unable to include end dates as many are extended on a week-by-week basis. Cows area, current scaffolds, Cameos, Bath Road, Cows, Princess Buildings, Bath Road, Cows, Regency House, 42 High Street, Cows, 56 to 56B High Street, Cows. Current skips, 42 New Barn Road, East Cowes. Pending skips, 8 Pelham Road, Cowes. Pending mobile crane, adjacent substation, Baring Road, Cowes.
Newport area, current scaffolds. Age UK, 114A Pyle Street, Newport, 113 Pyle Street. Trespass, 44 High Street, Newport, 34 C Street, Newport, 109 Carisbrook Road, Newport, 4 St James Street, Newport, phones 4U, 50 High Street, Newport, 17 C Street, Newport, 146 High Street, Newport, and 14 Holyrood Street.
Ryde area, current scaffolds, 35 to 36 High Street, Ryde. Flats 31 to 36 Mary Mead Close, Ryde. Boots 170 High Street, Ryde. Olivo Restaurant 32 to 33 Union Street, Ryde. 6 Anglesey Street, Ryde. 138 to 139 High Street, Ryde. 79 Park Road, scaffold in Player Street, Ryde. 16A Warwick Street, Ryde. 9 High Street, Brading. Hill House, The Mell, Brading. Pending scaffolds, 8 and 9 East Street, Ryde. Pending cherry picker, 10 Pell Lane, Ryde. Current skips, 28 Marlborough Road, Ryde. 42 Foreland Road, Bembridge. Pending skips, 20 John Street, Ryde. 2 Cornwall Street, Ryde.
Sandown and Shanklin area. Current scaffolds, 42 Fitzroy Street, Sandown. Sandown Saver Centre, Albert Road, Sandown. 10 Melville Street, Sandown. Pending cherry picker, junction of Town Lane and York Road, Sandown. Current hoardings, Premier Inn, 1 to 9 Esplanade, Sandown. Current mobile crane, Premier Inn, 1 to 9 Esplanade, Sandown. Current skips, Shanklin Towers, Prospect Road, Shanklin. Current building materials on highway opposite to Ashy View Lake. Ventnor area. Current scaffolds, corner of Trinity Road and Madeira Road, Ventnor. 1 Boniface Road and into Trinity Road, Ventnor. Chiverton's Fish Shop, 70 High Street, Ventnor. Pending scaffolds, 91A High Street, Ventnor. Current skips, 16 South Street, Ventnor. West Wight area. Current scaffolds, Hurst 9 School Green Road, Freshwater. Current skip, Runnymede, Queens Road, Freshwater. Pending skips, Hursley, the Broadway, Totland.
Vehicle crossings under construction. Old School Place, Cockleton Lane, Gurnard. 56 Lower Furlongs, Brading. 4 Swanage Terrace, Moons Hill, Totland. 4 The Fairway, Lake. Brickfields Cottage, Newnham Road, Ryde. 8 Pritchett's Way, Rookley. 7 Wroxall Close, Northwood. 9 Station Gardens, Brading. 37A Grove Road, Sandown. 57 Foreland Road, Bembridge.